Sibatshelile wema uYesu generally. Sibatshelile wema uYesu Mkhwanazi. Iyezi team welele ma iyezi team welele ma iyezi team welele ma. Welcome to another episode of The Dissection. Today, we all witnessed the first day of the presentation of evidence by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. This was the day when the ball got rolling. There were multiple delays, multiple attempts to try to slow this thing down. At some point, the commission was postponed indefinitely. They say they couldn't get infrastructure. Then the dockets moved left, right, and center. And all of a sudden, the commission got its infrastructure, got its budget, and the wheels on the bus are rolling. The wheels on the bus are rolling. So in this episode, I'm going to give my initial impressions of the testimony provided by General Mkhwanazi on day one. Let me say from the jump, overall, he came across as well prepared. His demeanor was that of an accomplished professional who was doing his work until the Hosh Parade tried to stop the police from getting to the bottom of the workings of this cartel, this particular syndicate. He was calm, he was composed, he didn't lose his temper, lose his demeanor. He seemed well prepared across the board. So let me give an overview quickly of how the day went down and then some thoughts as we get to the end of the episode. The first thing that happened today is that we heard short remarks from the chairperson of the commission, Justice Nhlanhla. Then we had some remarks from the evidence leader, Advocate Terry Mutau, right? And he went over the timeline of key events, made comments about evidence, what is evidence, what isn't evidence. Following that, it was game time. Advocate Mahla was leading the evidence which General Mkhwanazi was providing, and we got into it. We started off slowly with a discussion of the policing background of General Mkhwanazi. He proved that he was an accomplished police officer, somebody who was tasked with serious responsibilities throughout his career. Then we went into a discussion about how the political killings task team was set up, the budget of the task team, the work of the task team in KwaZulu-Natal and in the Eastern Cape, its accomplishments, and how those accomplishments, we didn't get much of input into all of the stats and analysis that he had provided in the statement, but we heard reference to how that data was actually presented, right? So the political killings task team started its work in 2018. It was precipitated by the wave of political killings and the attempted murders which were happening in the province. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made reference to the Morane Commission of Inquiry that looked into incidents, including political killings that took place in KwaZulu-Natal about a decade ago. The task team was a reformulation. There was an interministerial committee that was set up and tried to design a solution which would close the gaps from prior policing interventions and make sure that this time around they got it right. As they were doing this work, the work of the political killings task team, they had different types of dockets. I guess we can call them direct dockets, ad hoc dockets, parallel dockets. And in dealing with these particular cases, as they were going about their business, they would bump into evidence and information linking various incidents to corruption, to the killings which are happening in various municipalities of various people, either auditors, financial managers, and also the politicians themselves. What Mkhwanazi explained is that the motives for political killings, which was their mandate, are usually tenders. There's contestation for tenders. This hosh curry behavior comes with a lot of blood associated with it. We often see the yellow bones with the yellow thighs, and we see the Maybachs and the, Wraiths and all of these cars that these people drive. We see them in nightclubs popping bottles, drinking Hennessy and all of that. And we often forget that there's blood on all of that. There's nothing admirable at all about the shenanigans that these people have been up to. So Mkhwanazi explained that, various people are attacked as a result of these contestations. They're all linked to the political killings. So that all happened before lunch. After lunch, the tempo picked up and we started hearing about certain details about the investigations and the involvement of the minister and the dockets, the notorious dockets. I've covered a lot of some of these topics in other videos which you've seen, but we were now hearing it officially on the record from the general. One exchange that I thought was interesting, and that was a highlight, was the discussion of the bail, the original bail that was given to the former police officer Michael Puletau. This is something that was vocalized by Mkhwanazi on the 6th of July when he said that it appeared that the judiciary was infiltrated. So this is what he had said, and he was reading here concerns that were raised by a senior prosecutor in dealing with the Michael Puletau issue and the risk that arose from him getting bail.
The senior prosecutor, Regional Court, Vereeniging. The magistrate, for some bizarre and unexplainable reason, decided to grant Tau bail of 10,000 rand and place him under house arrest. The reality of the situation is that there is nobody who can watch over him 24/7 to ensure that he does in fact comply with the conditions. It is actually unenforceable. The prosecution has already spoken to the DPP to appeal the decision of the magistrate, and we just await the typed court recordings of the bail application to be present to the DPP to file the appeal.
And paragraph 11 and 13 then of the same letter on the same page specifically address the issues regarding Officer Tau. So if you could just proceed to read those two.
Paragraph 11 reads, the investigation has revealed that Tau is one of the main organizers behind this organized crime syndicate. His release on bail has intensified the danger of the safety of the investigation team, especially Mbele and Sithole, who are the people who made statements in the case, and they were the well-known faces who attended every court session. Mbele has been identified as the investigating officer, as she has presented detailed sworn statement to oppose the first and the second bail application. During the first few court sessions, the investigation team was actually followed from the court building, and many threats have been made inside the courtroom by the family and friends. And threats have been received via informers and even from the high-ranking police officer in the Vaal Rand area. Paragraph 13 reads, Tau clearly has a very large support system and large amount of money are spent to obtain the best and most expensive advocates. The money is clearly coming from the syndicate as all three accused are currently unemployed.
The view of the senior prosecutor was that it was irrational to give Michael Puletau bail. I agree with her. Should never have gotten that bail. The letter that he was reading was the correspondence that she had sent to the senior police. And this is an interesting piece it was an interesting submission or discussion because you also saw at some point that the Deputy Judge President Lidwaba granted bail to Katiso Molefe, one of the most notorious and most dangerous people in this whole saga, right? Somebody who had multiple passports, somebody who had a criminal record, somebody who was a drug dealer, not only locally, but internationally, somebody who was getting properties that have been implicated in fraudulent acquisition. This is not the kind of person that you give bail to, right? And he was denied bail originally, Michael Puletau, and then, not Michael Puletau, sorry, Katiso Molefe, originally denied bail, then he got it on appeal, and the rationale was just not convincing or compelling. This year, he tried the same stuff, they wouldn't give him any bail. But this is the source, I think, of the concerns that there has been some infiltration into the judiciary or into that arm of government. Then there was a discussion about the 6th of December operations where the properties of Vusi Matlala and Katiso Molefe were raided by the Gauteng Organized Crime Intelligence Team. And this was a search and seizure operation. These two men have been implicated in murders, attempted murders, fraudulent tenders. They've been implicated in all of this Hosh Panic behavior. But I want to point out and remind you, I don't think that these are the key people. They are junior Hosh Panic dons. They're junior. We need the Hosh Panic grandfathers. We know, for instance, that Morgan Maumela is one of the key figures in this, one of the Hosh dons. I wonder at what point, if at any point, he will get discussed. So This is some of what General Mkhwanazi had to say there. It was also a highlight for me today.
The 6th of December last year, the members that the operation GCI Ops in Gauteng resulted in the arrest of Mr. Mlife, as well as the search and seizure and the questioning of Mr. Nhlanhla. Both of them were accused. One was accused of murder on Vereeniging, and the other one was questioned with regard to the kidnapping of one Mr. Jerry Boshoga. So I am advised, Commissioner, that soon after Mlife's arrest and charge for murder and conspiracy to commit murder, after that charges were leveled against him, there's been further charges that is also be included on Mr. Molefe. Mr. Nhlanhla was questioned in December, but only to be arrested in May this year, where he was arrested on 3 counts of attempted murder as well as conspiracy to commit murder. So both of these individuals have now formally been charged with serious offenses for which harsh sentences will probably be imposed by the law if proven. So it is my considered view that the secondment of these 10 members from the political killings task team was correct. The decision that we made to release them have got us a result in terms of assisting in dealing with the organized crime and also satisfying the concerns that were raised by the senior prosecutor, Advocate Coetzee, when she wrote a letter and raising a concern with regard to the work of the investigators on the Vereeniging case.
Then there was the discussion of the disbanding of the political killings task team, a very peculiar decision. And the issues which arise here, firstly, are issues of the motive for the disbanding of the task team. Secondly, the lawfulness and rationality of that decision. And lastly, the timing of the decision and whether that timing was in any way connected to the search and seizures and the arrest of Katiso Molefe and all of the developments that had played out thereafter. You must recall that there are text messages that were circulating between what's his name, Brown Mkhwanazi, Vusi Nhlanhla, Katiso Molefe. And at some point, Vusi Nhlanhla was saying that he was being harassed. And then after the task team was disbanded, Brown Mkhwanazi then sent a message saying to Vusi Nhlanhla that the team that has been harassing you has been dealt with. These are all things that we have to keep in mind and be aware of, right? And that's a critical conversation, and one where I think there'll be many questions that have to be answered by other people. So here's the heart of General Mkhwanazi's allegations around the disbanding of the team. He stated that Senzo Mchunu was influenced by criminals to disband the task team because it was viewed as critical to the investigation of these Hosh criminal syndicates and all of their operations. That was a major, major moment.
Let me ask this direct question, General. Is this a policy or a policing issue, and why?
Commissioner, as in my opinion, views and experience I have in the police of over 30 years, this is a letter that is operational, not policy. It talks to the operational work of the police, of the SAPS. I have displayed earlier today also in the statement, previous pages, the work that the team have done, the success rate, the performance that influence the extra work to be given to the team, which will include the work in Eastern Cape as well as traditional leadership. So for a minister to reach this conclusion was because the minister has not received a formal briefing on the work that this team is doing. So to me, it was a wrong conclusion that the minister has reached, which is why it became a matter of concern
I think somewhere in your statement, but as part of that same theme, you say that the disbandment would have resulted in all dockers having to be sent to different corners within KwaZulu-Natal to be handled by individual investigators who would no longer have the benefit of this integrated approach to one, investigating, and also two, to prosecution, which, according to your statement, would have been disadvantageous to the process.
That is correct, Commissioner. I can't agree with you more. The minister's conclusion of saying that the team does not any value in policing in South Africa was misplaced. It is my belief that perhaps, as I had said in the public in the very same month of January, that someone influenced the minister to do this.
The commission then dealt with the decision to take away the 121 dockets away from the task team. And this is where the Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, was one of the main actors. I often laugh at this title, Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, because I don't know any crimes that were detected by General Shadrack Sibiya. All of these Sage Kabonges and all of these people that he's been hanging around with, from what we're hearing on social media and the influencer circles, these people are not necessarily people with clean hands, right? And if you think about Vusi Matlala, he was kidnapping people. Kidnapping actually has gone up. And General Shadrack Sibiya was supposed to be detecting crime. Right? So anyway, the discussion moved to this 121 dockets, and you can tell that Shadrack Sibiya was operating at odds with the instructions of the National Police Commissioner, at odds with his own prior support for this particular team. In the discussion about how the team was set up and also how it was funded, there was testimony provided by General Mkhwanazi about how Sibiya supported the process, how he was involved in the process. His current posturing is contradictory, and it suggests that whatever they found last year from that April 2024 date when Aman Swat was killed, I think it was 17 April, going all the way to December, this changed the mood. It changed the attitude. And we're hearing these characters, Sage Kabone and all of these people saying they know General Sibiya. So it may very well be that his attitude changed because all of a sudden, now there was movement in spaces and places that he didn't want there to be movement. He didn't want any traction there, right? His current posturing suggests that whatever they found last year changed his appetite for the whole team. He became allergic. This year, he was one of the key people gunning for the task team and gunning for the dockets. That's one of the big discussions which happened. So we're going to go into the next days. Already, things are not looking good for certain people, particularly for Minister Senzo Mchunu, Shadrack Sibiya. There are other people whose names will also, I think, at some point really have to come up and really have to be examined thoroughly. I don't think that Minister Senzo Mchunu will be coming back to that role anytime soon. And I can actually understand now why he was stressed over the weekend when the ANC was having that whole thing where they are trying to resuscitate their municipal local government electoral prospects, because it's going to be a bloodbath there. The general has copious amounts of evidence, and there are a sufficient number of police officers who are willing to testify. Looks like it will be in camera about what they know. So they won't necessarily be testifying, within the rooms, etc. But Minister Senzo Mchunu is in trouble. He will have to provide clarity on the following questions when he gets to provide his testimony. Who did he consult before deciding to dissolve the political killings task team? What are these things that were going around, the letter that was being drafted up and down? Why did he not raise concerns with the police commissioner, Fani Masemola, or with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi? Why did he, spring it upon them? Why did he wait for the commissioner to be on leave? That timing was very peculiar. Few days after the seizure of the AK-47s from, CAT Protection Services, CAT what? The Vusi Matlala Protection Services thing. All of a sudden, now you're moving with a certain pace, a certain acceleration. It's not adding up, fam. It's not adding up. You need to break it down. You need to break it down. Why did he not consult the interministerial committee before disbanding the task team that set it up? What due diligence did he apply, or what supervision did he apply in the movement of the dockets? That's a critical question. Some relationships have to be clarified. What is his relationship with Brown Mkhwanazi? What is his relationship with Katiso Molefe? What is his relationship with Vusi Matlala? What is his relationship with Hosh Caridons up and down? What does he know about what Bheki Cele was talking about with Vusi Matlala? He's going to have to answer a lot of questions. I understand the stress. I see it. You're going to have to explain who's a friend, who's an associate, who do you smoke cigarettes with. You're going to have to explain. Today was a slow build-up to some of the key moments that I think are coming up. Most of what I said today by General Mkhwanazi has been covered or was covered on the 6th of July and has been reported on in the media. Today, he made it official. He put it on record under oath. Those who are saying he doesn't have evidence, or he was just saying that in a press conference. Press conferences, ha-ha! Libatshelile wema, uyezo Mkhwanazi. The ball is now moving. Unfortunately, for many characters, it will only be an avalanche for them. There's no Malva pudding in their future. Only pop. No Malva pudding. Malva pudding time is finished. The horse curry behavior is reaching the end of the season, and they are likely to be relegated. As Trevor Noah once told Bonang, every dog has his day, and today is Wednesday. Let's meet in the comments. And I'm going to be making more episodes, but let's meet in the comments. Did you watch day one? What are your thoughts and impressions? Catch you there.